Welcome to Are You Done Yet? The podcast brought to you by Innovative E, the 2023 and 2024 Microsoft Partner of the Year winner and a 7-time Microsoft Award winner in the last 6 years. Hosted by Mike Taylor, CEO of Innovative E, and Bryan Quick, Senior Director of Business Development, this podcast is your go-to resource for transforming your organization's project and work management strategies, enabling you to become a higher-performing organization with happier people. And now, Mike Taylor and Bryan Quick.
Hi, and welcome to Are You Done Yet? The podcast about your project and work management challenges. I'm Mike Taylor, and I have with me Bryan Quick.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Are You Done Yet? How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Bryan?
Pretty good. Hey, this is going to be the wrap episode, the final episode of the podcast series, Are You Done Yet? We're going to keep continuing with other podcasts offered by Innovative E, but this is going to be the last one of this type, right?
It is. We're and it's kind of bittersweet to see the whole series go. And it's been a long time, a little over 5 years, I think we've done together on this podcast.
5 years, sort of off and on. And I think we're going to, Innovative E is going to continue the modernization concept and journey. I think we'll be hearing shortly about what that theme is going to be and how the podcast series is going to evolve. But I think this has run its course. We started out during the COVID years, Mike, when we were all hunkered down in our homes, and we wanted to get the message out. And there's been so much that we've been able to talk through, and so much that's transpired since then about your project and work management challenges, as we said the podcast was supposed to address from the very beginning. Things have changed dramatically, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have. And I think, what has changed is a lot of the technology, obviously the patterns of work you mentioned, the whole, the lockdown and people going remote and hybrid and everything, which, persists today. It forever changed the way work's going on. What hasn't changed, I think, is a lot of the ongoing challenges people have, the interpersonal challenges. And of course, we have AI and things affecting the way work is being managed more these days. But, things, it's almost ironic that the more things change, and sometimes more things stay the same, right? That people are still having similar challenges with, rates of project success and everything else. So it's going to be an ongoing journey for everyone. Like I said, we'll be coming up with a new format and everything. And we'll be having Bryan back on the podcast for the future events.
I'd love to. Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
When we started, Mike, we were focused on kind of the advent of teams, and we were noting at the time, right. This was in early 2020. We were noticing at the time that the companies that had gone through a transition to Microsoft Teams prior to the lockdown at that time were in a much better position to move forward in the new way of working, which we had noted was in that first episode, the forced, what did we call it? Forced, what was a term that we used? It was like, you had to work from home. I don't remember exactly what it was called.
Forced digital collaboration or something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Go back and watch the episode. No,
that's right. I went back to watch a few of them. I didn't watch that one.
So it's still out there. If anybody wants to see it, but we kind of called it. I'm gonna say we called it. That was true. That was a statement that came to fruition, and those folks were much better equipped in order to handle the situation because they were already used to working that way. And that's the way eventually everybody had to begin working. And I think we've seen that actually come full circle now. Because people are going back to the physical office more and more often.
Right. Yeah, I think there was one customer in particular that we called out in that first episode that they had made their transition much easier because they already had teams. We were helping them with project management transformation, but in this case, it was just the collaborative aspects of working. And then over the years, we've kind of noticed that trend has continued and really understood how much collaboration is a big piece of project management in general. And
Mm-hmm.
in fact, I've read recently it's as high as 70 to 90% of project management can be attributed to some form of collaboration between project managers, team members, stakeholders, all the different folks.
Yeah, I've always been a firm believer in that, seeing it for myself and managing projects personally. But I don't think a lot of people go into project management thinking that's what it's about.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of, there's still a lot of management out there that's not really focused on making collaboration a first class citizen in project management, more focused on, the tools that people are using to manage the project, which is important, but not as important. And I
Right.
think if you put collaboration first as a first class citizen in project management, it's just liberating. I mean, it's about getting the work done after all. So we should be collaborating at a high level. It kind of fills in the blanks too.
Right.
I mean, as far as risk and issue management, if people are collaborating at a high level, they work things out.
Right. Yep. That's really the core of it.
Yeah. So using a collaboration solution like Microsoft Teams, we had quickly evolved our thinking. And I was going through some back episodes, and I think it was episode 6, where we were still in 2020, and we were realizing that, hey, if people are going to be in this sort of forced situation where they can't physically be located, but we need to put collaboration first, then we need to build project management solutions inside of Microsoft Teams.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a conclusion we came to pretty early, right?
Yeah, and I think that one episode when we were demoing what is has become Teams for PM since then. It was some of the first features. We had a couple of our engineers on there. We had Sean, who isn't with the company anymore, but we still keep in touch with him, and Matt were on there, and they were really talking about and demoing some of the things they'd built around the collaborative aspects of project management and embedding it as a first citizen into our first party citizen into the collaborative, which is Teams.
Yeah, that episode was kind of I thought a critical, pivotal moment, kind of looking back, where we were starting to work with the Power Platform, building around Microsoft Teams and building around Project and Planner in such a way that we could create this project management experience inside of Microsoft Teams, where we felt that's where the population was going, where they already were, and where the rest of them were heading. That was a pretty cool, and that's proven to be the case at many of our customers, that as people continue to focus on the Microsoft, the evolving, ever-changing Microsoft platform, which these solutions are built on. So that's actually come to a place where we look back on that kind of angle, and it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, and some of the capabilities we've been able to build into Teams for PM and the other solutions have just kind of built on that concept. Even things like that, we launched it not long after that, I think in 2021, the sentiment analysis, and it really was about the collaboration. It took the chat threads of people that were collaborating by virtue of doing the project, and started to do the analysis, and was able to present that back in a meaningful way. And so really use the collaboration, like you said, risk management and meetings and all the stuff that you do, automating more and more of that, which has gone on over the years. And now people are starting to realize that as well, and using things like Copilot for Teams, right? And the meeting minutes and things like that. But we were kind of ahead of that game, weren't we?
Yeah, I think in concept, we were definitely ahead of it. And, things have changed. And I think the rate of change has been accelerated in the last year and a half. Seems like, I don't know exactly, but since Copilot came out, and Microsoft's been emphasizing AI more often and more prevalent than even Power Platform or Teams.
Right.
It's the next wave. They're always moving on to the next wave, but it's just similar. I think that the analogy can also be drawn, because whereas before we were saying that if you were using Teams, you were prepared for to be separated physically, and to operate as a business with everybody working remotely. right now, you could say is something very similar about if you're using Microsoft Teams and the platform to do project management, then you're pre-positioned for AI insights
Right.
because your data is centralized. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like an evolution of the concept,
Right.
but very similar.
Yeah, that's something we talked a lot about on this podcast, right? Is the
Hmm.
platform centricity
Hmm.
of project and work management, and the fact that it is being centered around collaboration, but also the whole tool set that underlies it, which is all the modern capabilities that the Microsoft platform brings, which is like you're talking about the Power Platform and AI native, and of course Teams and the collaboration. So all of that becomes the data set that people are working with when you're staying inside that, rather than moving into individual third party apps. And I think you're seeing more and more of that discussion just in general about work management, about data is the key, and being able to bring data together. And that's something that we're just doing natively, and that our customers are doing on the platform. And like you said, that makes it much easier to take those next steps. And the AI and human symbiotic relationship of building those data sets. AI can help you do it better, and humans can do more of the quality of making sure that it's exactly what it needs to be. But the quantity is better because of AI as well. But something you touched on a couple of years ago, I think we're seeing starting to see a little more of, and I think it's going to be starting to hear our customers lean into this a little more, which is what is the role of the project manager and the role of the folks going to be that are involved in managing this. And we've talked about citizen project management, but specifically the professional project managers. We just did PMXPO. You were on having some conversations with folks, and we did a session and everything that was there. But I think people are realizing that the landscape's going to change for the role of the project manager, and it's not. I don't know if it's going to change entirely. I think some things are going to kind of become de-emphasized, like some of the data chasing and some of the kind of the analyst hat of trying to massage data. But in other ways, and you've talked about this a lot in the past, the project managers are going to do more of the humanistic components of it, and be more of a manager, be more of a people engagement type of role.
Right. Yeah. I think that's going to remain the case and be important, not only from a professional development standpoint. I don't think anybody gets into project management thinking, I just want to chase data around.
Right.
I just want to live in spreadsheets, or I just want to, ask for status updates from everybody. That's not why we get into project management in the first place. If it is, then I think your life is probably going to change. And I say that, empathetically, but if that's your expectation for the way you want to spend the rest of your career, those things are going to be replaced by automation. Start thinking about where you want to really focus and where the real value of a project manager lies. It's not in filling gaps and doing odd jobs on the project, and trying to figure out where people find value in you because you're able to kind of get things done in between the lines, so to speak. We hear a lot about that, about project managers, kind of doing grunt work because no one else wants to do it on the team, or actually going and completing tasks and activities that other people don't want to do. That's not really the role of a project manager either. I think it's okay if you want to chip in every now and then in the spirit of removing obstacles and in the spirit of keeping people motivated. But you don't need to justify your existence on the team by trying to be part of the team. You're leading the team. You're responsible for the outcome. The buck stops with you, and the human aspect of project management, as you call it, Mike, and the things that we want to emphasize are, being able to do proper scheduling and estimation to offer predictability to management and have expectations around when is the project going to be done and what's the likelihood that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Risk management, being able to facilitate an understanding of how risk affects project outcomes with your team, to analyze the probability and the impact of those risks should they happen, and be able to position management to either help or make a decision about how to respond to the risk.
Yep.
And motivating and leading teams
Yep.
and people, facilitating that collaborative atmosphere on your team, the openness, the type of team relationship that causes and compels people to be forthcoming about risk and in issues that are happening, not to squirrel them away. To be able to find the people on your team that are your doers and that you can rely on for outcomes. And then, of course, the whole concept and discipline around communication and managing your manager and making sure that, people are informed about what's happening on your project that are not, that are sponsors or stakeholders outside the core project team. So that's what we need you to do as project managers. And pushing paper and living in Excel is not that.
Right. Yep. 100%. Yeah. It's the art of all the human pieces that you just just outlined there. So one of the things we had talked about, maybe talking about here is kind of what it was like doing the podcast. And this last sequence just now was kind of, I think, it was the way it rolled a lot of times, right? We have we write down a few points, so behind the scenes we'll have a little bit of an agenda of things we're going to do, but for the most part we just riff. And it's worked out really well. I think it's been a lot of fun. We riff off each other. We take the talking points and we'll start to go, and then sometimes it takes us down a rabbit hole, but that's okay. We'll come back, and
Sure.
We've had a few of those, and we've had some things that were cut out, and we probably have some blooper reels somewhere we could publish.
There was one particular episode where we had guests on this podcast. So go back and on the YouTube history or in the podcast history or whatever you're watching this on, and take a look at the guests that we've had. We had Gino DeGregory from Bravo Consulting Services. We had our partners at TaskTop join us at one time. We had Tad Haas, who at the time was with Edison 365, and there were some bloopers and outtakes on that one that we're able to chop up and post as well. That was a fun episode. So we've had other folks in our circle in our community. Our very own Matt Freilich has been on the podcast a number of times as well. So there's been some good interaction with other team members and other people in different companies and that have come onto the podcast. We hope that you found that to be valuable. And then we had a customer corner for a while where we were sharing kind of from the trenches in real time what was happening with customers without naming real names, but it's just kind of how we were assisting them and what they were going through in the hope that it would resonate with some of our listeners, and if they were in a similar situation, that they would understand kind of the way we're thinking about it.
Yep. But to name names, we did have a something that Microsoft did. They did a piece on us around the Southern New Hampshire University, SNHU, and that was pretty cool. And they actually did both a piece that they published on the Microsoft site as well as a video, and it's out there. And actually, Nicole Denson, who's head of the Microsoft Worldwide Partner Program, actually reposted that on LinkedIn as well recently. So that was pretty cool. SNHU is one of those examples of a customer that's just really great to work with. They're forward thinking, and they're willing to share their story and their journey, the good and bad parts to help make it kind of, real for folks. So that was pretty awesome as well.
Yeah, that's a huge highlight. Now, when we started this podcast, we had not won a Partner of the Year award yet.
That's true.
We've since won 3, one in the U.S. and 2 globally.
Right.
And we were finalists a number of other times. So that's interesting. You take a look at kind of the evolution of the company and what we've been able to accomplish during the duration of the Are You Done Yet podcast.
Yep. And we've done a lot of other things in terms of we've done a lot of thought leadership. We've gone back and worked with our customers throughout this process. We work closely with Microsoft. and we've talked, had a lot of private discussions around futures, around where things are going. But I would think that some of the things that we've brought back even to our customers, some of our thoughts and motions of ways we've thought about going about doing things. We're somewhat influenced by just the interaction, this podcast, guests we've had on, and all the stuff we've done. So I think it's been good not just to share things, but also from a learning experience and things we bring back to the kind of customers and folks like that.
So if you had your magic 8 ball, Mike,
Mm-hmm.
you were trying to kind of see where this is all going. I have a feeling that, knowing the way that you've been so forward thinking about emphasizing AI and project management, that there'll be a lot more about that coming out from Innovative E in this similar formats.
Yeah. The next podcast, I don't know if we'll use the term AI in it. We haven't decided on it, what it'll be, but it will definitely be about the future of work and project work on the platform, and how that can really be accelerated. So it'll take some of these themes forward as well. Absolutely. And there is there's a lot of confluence of things that are going on. We know that there's been product changes on the platform. Some of the traditional products haven't been getting innovation, like Project Online, for a long time. Planner's been getting innovation, Teams, and Power Platform, of course, Copilot, and AI. So there's going to be a set of compelling events where people are going to realize they need to do something because project maybe product stagnation or things that are going on with the product, and versus all the opportunities they have in the platform. And we talked about the platform approach. It really has been a mind shift over the last 5 years of I think in the industry in general, of folks looking at moving away from just a siloed SaaS approach to more of a platform approach and a collection of tools that can do, especially when consolidated onto the platform, can do a lot more than you could do just with a particular piece of technology. And I think that's really shaped the way things are moving forward with folks as well. So yes, looking forward, that's going to be a lot of what we're going to be talking about and growing expertise on, and bringing that back to the market. Even things like agentic AI, which you talk about, the role of agents and things that are going on in the platform. That's really a big deal now. We're in an incubation program with Microsoft on that. So we're really trying to take that forward in ways that can be really effective and novel. And what's interesting about that is, and you've made mention of this before, Brian, we have customers who are all over the kind of the spectrum and adopting technology and AI. We have customers who are, they may be just getting going on some of the technologies that other customers are considering legacy. And on the continuum of AI, some have embraced it early. Many are kind of still dipping their toe in the water. But we think that it's going to happen, and we're seeing, reading the tea leaves and what's happened in past kind of technological revolutions, is it will start to happen fast within these customers when it does happen. And that's what we were talking to customers about being prepared for, and making sure that you're aligned with kind of the best practices, the responsible AI, the security, the things that you need to get understand in order to then take advantage of the platform in a way that makes sense for you as a PMO lead or a project manager.
Yeah, I could see that following suit. There's usually a no before there's a yes, some sort of not yet, or we're not ready, and then all of a sudden we're doing it.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
Yeah. To that end, we do have some things that are coming up. We do have a white paper that we've worked on. Brian, you were part of that, and several other people, and our friends at CPS in the UK.
Yeah.
And that's going to be coming out, and we're reviewing that with Microsoft as well. And it's really the why, when, and how to modernize your Microsoft your estate, your project and portfolio management estate. It's really focused on the folks with a higher end complex solutions that they built up over the years. So it's going to be like your mid-enterprise and up, folks that have pretty complicated things that they built and maybe done a lot of customizations around, and now they need to modernize. They need to get the common or the current platform, and really put everything into Teams, and really be able to take the most out of leveraging the Power Platform and all that has to offer, and of course AI and everything else for that. So we're we're really excited about that asset and all the things that will come out after it as well. So that's going to be good to help give a lot of guidance to customers as well.
And where should folks go to kind of watch out for that white paper? I think that would be extremely helpful for someone trying to determine, what direction to go in if they find themselves in that situation. Would it just look at the Innovative E website for that forthcoming?
Yeah, look for the Innovative E website, and if you follow us on social, on LinkedIn especially, there'll be a lot of socials about that'll be posted from us and from CPS as well. So expect to see some stuff coming out in the next couple weeks.
Great. Yeah, it's great that you're working with CPS. How did that evolve?
Well, it was one of those things where we had, you mentioned Edison 365. They were actually a spinoff of CPS. So we were working with them when our friends there, like Ivan and some of the folks were still with CPS, and then they went off and did their own thing, split up the company. But we got to know the CPS folks pretty well, the executive leadership team, the folks who run their modern work and their PPM practice. So we had the idea last fall, I think, to when we were seeing everything that was going on and getting feedback from customers, there was still a lot of need for information on if we have, project online, where do we go with, we understand what Planner does and what it can do, but just in general, how do we plot a course to, overcome all these customizations and move it into a more modern footing and take advantage of AI and everything. So we reached out to our friends across the pond and asked if they wanted to participate, and they did so, very energetically. And so it's been a really good collaboration over the last few months to put that piece together. And I think we'll end up having a long form version of it as well, which may even be an ebook once everything kind of settles out over the coming months or whatever in terms of what's going on with product and future and all that. So we may have a long form version that comes out as well. But for now, the white paper and we'll break it into blogs and things like that. So that'll be coming up soon.
Great. That sounds really exciting. I think it's going to be incredibly useful for folks. And what a great partner and very knowledgeable team over at CPS in the UK that you've been able to partner with to get that white paper out. It's very exciting. So check out innovative-e.com for that coming soon. And I'm sure if you're on our email list that we'll be sending out some information about that shortly.
Right. Yep. So Bryan, you're going to be taking on a new role. You're going to have a new journey coming up, but back with Microsoft.
Yeah, my career journey has led me back. As many of you probably know, I was, worked in project management most of my career, and that led me to Microsoft. I was there for 7 years. And before joining Innovative E, I've been now in Innovative E for almost 6 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be heading back to Microsoft and working with business applications, so the Power Platform, for state and local governments in the Southeast. So it's a really exciting opportunity for me to go back and to focus on a larger breadth of how the platform can impact customers. And being that we've had some experience here in Innovative E working with state and local government, it's an area of interest and something that I'm looking to expand and I'm very excited about.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and it's not uncommon. Hate to see hate to see you go, but I think you're going to be I know you'll be very successful at what you're going to do there. And it's not uncommon to see folks move from Microsoft into partner space and back, and it's it's a fairly common thing. So I think you're going to do fantastic, and wish you the best.
Thanks, Mike. It's been a really wonderful experience here with you and everybody at the Innovative E team. I was reflecting, we've been able to do so much, and I'm kind of humbled and lucky to be part of such an awesome team in the last 6 years or so. But it is time for my journey to move on, as they say, but we'll be in close touch, and I hope to come back, in whatever capacity that you have, this kind of format or other formats where we can kind of catch up and exchange ideas from the other side.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. I've loved working with you over the years and done a lot of stuff professionally and even fun together. Had some times where we did some singing and playing at some at some tribal net events and doing some other stuff. So it was a lot of good times.
Those are the best times in my career where you can mix business with pleasure and you can be around like-minded members of your community. I really value that part of my career and our friendship as well, and the way that everything's gone during this transition has been awesome. So I'm going, but I'm not going far.
No, Brian will still be around. You'll still see him
Yeah.
around, and I have a feeling we're still going to be doing a lot of work together. So,
Yeah.
I think you've mentioned some of the other folks that have been around. We've had a lot of folks that have participated and helped and worked on this podcast. Too many to name. Steph also does the production recently. Pamela did it before then. A lot of folks have helped out, really upped our game too, right? I mean, if you look back at some of those first production value, they were not what they are now.
No,
We've really
not that this is this isn't top rated,
it's not Joe Rogan
podcast,
experience or
in
anything
terms
like
of studio quality, but hey, we're not going for that. We're just trying to, Mike and I would have this conversation anyway. We're just trying to keep you guys in the loop.
That's
So
right.
This is just what we do.
That's right.
We just get together and talk and pontificate about project management and where it's going and technology, and we have this conversation all day long in various meetings with customers and internal alike, and we just thought we'd bring you guys along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to continue to do so. Just different format, different way to do it. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I think I'm looking forward to the future and your future, and staying in touch and continuing to collaborate and engage with the community. That's probably the most rewarding part, is the engagement with our customers, like you said, and the larger community and the feedback we get and all the events we've done and all that stuff and the feedback we get from the podcast. It's really amazing and humbling, like I said. So we look forward to continuing that as well.
And as you know, as a project manager, your work is never done.
That's right.
So you're never done. And that's why we titled it the way we did, because you're never done. And are you done yet?
Nope.
So Mike, until next time, and different mode maybe, but thank you for everybody that has been listening. Thank you to our subscribers. It's been fun, and we hope that you've been able to get some really good insight and some points out of this that you can take and put into practice right away, and it's led you kind of to a better understanding of how you can leverage the Microsoft platform to your advantage for project and work management. So thank you for being part of that journey.
Yeah, thanks everybody very much for being part of it, and your support and everything else. And thank you, Brian. And I guess with that, we'll say it's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Are you done yet?
All right. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Take care.
Thanks for joining us on this final episode of Are You Done Yet? It's been an incredible ride. 5 years of conversations, insights, and a few rabbit holes. But through it all, we've shared one mission: helping you navigate the ever-evolving world of project and work management. If today's episode sparked something for you, or any episode along the way, we would love to hear from you. Drop us a comment, share your favorite moment, or connect with us on LinkedIn. And while this chapter is closing, the conversation is far from over. Keep an eye on innovative.com and follow us on LinkedIn for what's next. From all of us at Innovative E, thank you for being part of this journey.